Hi everyone, welcome to the first module of 6 in learning how to operate the Final Cut Pro film editing software. This first video tutorial, I just want to go through the Final Cut interface and kind of explain what is available to you and show you where it's at. Alright, so let's open up Final Cut Pro. When you're on your desktop, you can have an icon dragged out from your applications folder for easy clicking. There's also another one available down here. Later on in the modules, I'm going to show you how to make an icon for your Final Cut Pro library that is personal to you. And that icon will appear on the desktop. You can also go in through there. Okay, to kind of get you started in here, I have uploaded some footage, I've created some events and projects, but I will be getting to how to establish that for yourself in the next module. And so we're just using it for a visual reference right now of what things look like. So our first panel over here on the left-hand side is your libraries. This is where you're going to stay organized with all your projects that you have for the class. Our next panel over is where those projects and all of your footage will end up being organized. Within this area, you also have the option of extending your clips, so it tells you how many you can fit in there. If you want to get in and really see close details before you drag them to your timeline, whatever one is selected, you can open it up and be a little bit larger. So just know that is available to you. Another thing you can do is we have our tile view here of what the visuals of each footage clip looks like. We also have a list view. You can work either way, it's up to you. So whatever you select in this list will appear in this preview window here. I find that most of my students in the past have preferred to see the picture tiles here, the project at the top. Whatever way you want to work it, it's totally up to you. Alright, going over to our next panel here, we have our preview window. Okay, here are some tools that directly affect the visual. I will be getting to that in later tutorials. We have our play button, okay, that goes through. You can also jump around using these two directional arrows. Another thing you can do is use the extended screen to open it up like this, okay, to see it in a larger format. And up here we also have view display options that you can click through to your liking. You can also, it's currently at 60%, which is a fit to screen because of how small I have it, but you can zoom in and see it in closer detail if you wish. And our last panel here is one that we can manipulate. So as we put editing techniques on our film window here, you see it just disappeared because I clicked off of that. As the images are clicked on, this is our inspector tab. You turn it on and off right here, and you can go through and look at the video visuals, the effects that are on them, the audio, and the effects that are on them, and all the other relative information that goes with it. We mainly focus in the video and the audio tabs out at the top four here. Right, I'm just going to close this one for now. I will get back to it. Okay. So over here, first arrow here, we have an import media tab. If you do this, it opens it up. I will be getting into this when I get into the import tab, but it takes you to navigation that will help you find your clips on the computer. Okay. When we're selected here, we have these options of when they're in the media library to star them, indicate their value, okay? Or just say that you don't want that clip anymore. I find people usually don't use that right off the bat, but it could come in handy later. Okay. Keywords. Later on you'll see as you save things, tags will appear associated to certain footage clips. You can search for them here and it will open up a panel and show you them. That's really for later on when you've made a lot of films and you need to find things that might be in those other films. Okay. These are different ways that you can set up your clips. So you can connect clips together. So this is a clip here technically, and this is one here. It's giving you the option to play two simultaneously. Just going to hit our shortcut here, Command Z, to undo anything you didn't like. This is another one. This is the one we normally work with. It goes directly in the middle of our timeline here. And this one is attaching to, so we can use that to attach. Again, I'm just going to back this up. This is our main tool panel. I will be explaining each and every one of these tools and what they do throughout the tutorials later on. Okay. We get to this middle part here. This is our rendering, transcoding, sharing. So what happens is you put your film in and you go to export it, or you go to upload certain footage in here, and it will tell you when it reaches 100%. You have to wait for that to happen before you can do anything with that footage. If you try to do something too soon, it will corrupt the file in here and on your timeline. So just wait till that gets to 100%. That will make more sense later. Another little trick here is you can click on it. They're all idle right now because nothing is happening, but importing media will show you little taskbars right here to let you know that you're getting close. Okay. So here we also have our time bracket. If you move the playhead around through the timeline, you'll see that it's scrolling up. This is useful when you're doing certain edits and you want to know what time it occurs at. Maybe you want to move something, so that's what that is for. We also have an audio panel here, so nothing's on our timeline right now, but everything has audio attached to it, right? And you'll see on the right-hand side that those audio bars are going up. We want them to stay in the green. We don't want them shooting up into the yellow and the red. That means there's some weird pitch issues, and we'll also be talking about that when it comes to editing audio and making enhancements on audio. Here is our magic wand tool. It's how we analyze and enhance color as well as audio. Going over that. This here, let me just drop something down. This here allows you to slow down or speed up your clips. You can also reverse. You can do different kinds of edits in terms of how they're played and the speed at which they're played. Okay, here we have our effects. You got your video effects. These are visually going to alter your clips, and we have audio effects right underneath of them. Next to that, we have still photos that you can bring in and put into your film. You know, for creative elements if you think that is necessary. We have our music and sound tab that has sound effects that are pre-installed through Final Cut Pro. You also have access to GarageBand and iTunes. Your iTunes is connected to this as well, so you'll be able to go into your iTunes folder and find new downloads, old downloads, and you'll be able to click on them and directly import them right into the timeline down here. These are our transitions. These go in between two clips on your timeline. So it's one clip transitioning into the next. They are categorized so you can kind of get where you want to go from one clip moving into the next clip. super important one, our titles and text rollout here. We have credit slides, lower thirds, title pages. For this class, you'll be required to do both a title page and credit page at least on every film you make to give credit to the people in it, and the external resources you might bring in, like music made by artists, that kind of stuff. So these are really important. You just click and drag them to the timeline like anything else. Here are some generators. These are elements that you can add to your timeline and your film that achieve different looks. Use these with like extreme caution because sometimes they can really ruin what you've achieved in your film. If you're going for tacky, these are usually good. I'm kind of like against them because they are tacky, but when done right, I'm sure they're good. So just use them with discretion. Be aware of how they make your film tone look. Okay, here's some themes. Again, they're tacky. Be extremely cautious with how you use these in this class. They might look cool and interesting, but they can really take you out of the film if not used right. And I don't know. You can do more creative stuff with the effects in your own title text generators. Getting back to our inspector tab, let me close this guy. Our inspector tab allows you to look at the different things that are on here in terms of what the video looks like, the effects you might put on them, and I will go over this, but I'm going to explain it over in this one. You can also access it here. The audio you can change in here. There's a bunch of different tools. And this is for the final outcome when you're all done your film, and you can share your project through any of these devices. You can even add your own destination that you want your film to be uploaded to. So that's the basic gist of that middle row. When we get down here, you'll see that the name of the film is there. Okay, we have our time brackets along here. This is called your playhead, and it allows you to scrub over your film and throughout your movie. It also is helpful for lining things up, and you'll see this bright orange one allows you to line that up. This is what your editing tools are going to mark up to, and then you can mark up to certain areas in your film. And this being your timeline, you put your clips here, your audio will fall down here, and most of the time effects and additional things will fall up along here. Okay, so that's the basic gist of the things that we will be using. Oh, one more down here. This allows you to stretch your timeline out so that you can view your clips in really precise detail or make it smaller so it fits. Okay, make sure I don't forget anything else. Geez. Okay. No, that looks like it. That's the main things we'll be using in our editing practice that we're trying to improve with these tutorials. So keep watching through, keep working on it. At the end of every clip and module, you will be applying the techniques that are covered in that module to the practice footage, which is going to look like this in your own final cut. And then by the end, you will have a good practice film that kind of just allows you to play around with certain ideas and allows me to see that you have done that. So have fun with it. I'm not expecting any certain thing to come out of this practice footage. I mean, it's not golden, but it will give you something meaningful to look at in terms of visuals for applying and practicing the editing techniques. Looking forward to seeing what you make of it.